Back to the Future. Could it actually happen with a real time machine?
I'm able to twist time into a loop. I can go from the past to the present to the future, but I'm on a loop, so I can go from the future back to the past.
Oh, we can easily travel forward in time, and we've known how to do that since 1905.
In a bold experiment, a brilliant individual ventured into the mysteries of time, vanishing without a trace from the pages of history. After years of absence, against all odds, they resurface with an urgent warning of impending catastrophe. What chilling message did they bring, and what implications do it hold for mankind? Join us as we delve into the unsolved mystery of this time traveler's decades-long disappearance, followed by a surprising revelation that could change the course of humanity's future. Terrifying time machine adventure. In 1995, Mike Markham, a 21-year-old electrical engineering student from Stanberry, Missouri, embarked on an ambitious project, building a time machine to secure his financial future by exploiting lottery numbers from the future. His makeshift laboratory, located on the untidy back of his house, was a chaotic mix of discarded home appliances, including televisions, radios, and CDs. Mike's primary experimental focus was on Jacob's Ladder, a device that captured his imagination with its potential for unlocking the mysteries of time travel. He had already made modifications to Jacob's Ladder, equipping it with a custom-built electronic transformer capable of generating an impressive 20,000 volts. This significant power boost was necessary, given the standard household voltage in the United States, which fell far short of his requirements. Resourceful and inventive, Mike utilized unconventional materials for the conductors of Jacob's Ladder, employing wire hangers and lasers to reinforce and manage the apparatus. The lasers served the dual purpose of heating the air surrounding the conductor, thereby reducing potential issues arising from air pressure and temperature fluctuations that could jeopardize his painstakingly crafted setup. Amidst the crackling energy and the lightning of experimentation, Mike began to notice peculiar occurrences, indicating that his efforts were edging closer to actualization. Undeterred by the challenges and fueled by the prospect of future wealth, he continued to push the boundaries of science and technology in pursuit of his ambitious goal. While experimenting with Jacob's Ladder, Mike made a bold and controversial statement. He claimed that a strange circular vortex materialized in his room, measuring around 8 inches in diameter. Feeling curious and adventurous, he decided to test it out by tossing a screw into the vortex. To his astonishment, every time he did so, the screw disappeared, only to reappear a few seconds later. Mike became convinced that the metal screw had somehow traveled through time. Witnessing this phenomenon ignited a newfound determination in Mike. Inspired by the vortex's mysterious behavior, he resolved to embark on an ambitious project, constructing a time machine towering at 8 feet tall, far surpassing the humble Jacob's Ladder. However, Mike was well aware of the immense challenge ahead. Achieving his goal required a substantial amount of power and resources, especially for conducting experiments involving humans. Undeterred by setbacks, Mike continued to push forward. When his initial attempts at scaling up the time machine resulted in a fiery problem, he remained fearless. Instead, he reasoned that employing larger transformers to generate higher voltages would be a logical next step in rebuilding the machine. However, upon considering the financial implications, Mike realized that each transformer would come with a hefty price tag of around $20,000. Despite this significant obstacle, Mike's determination to unlock the secrets of time travel remained unshaken. Unable to afford what he needed, Mike resorted to breaking into the local power plant to steal 6 old transformers. His goal was to keep his project going, but little did he know that attaching these transformers to Jacob's Ladder would trigger a massive blackout throughout his neighborhood, leaving the streets in darkness for several hours. Shortly after, the police arrived at his doorstep armed with a search warrant. They swiftly took him into custody. During his trial, Mike claimed he was trying to decode winning lottery numbers to fund a research facility. However, his explanation fell on deaf ears, and he was sentenced to prison. But Mike's story takes a fascinating turn after his release. He gained local fame by sharing stories on the radio about his quest to build the world's first time machine, often mentioning a missing screw in his endeavors. Although the radio show, hosted by Art Bell, delved into supernatural topics, Mike was quickly branded as a madman by Art himself, a label he proudly embraced. On air, Mike revealed his financial struggles and even went as far as broadcasting his phone number, hoping for support. The response was overwhelming, with non-stop phone calls flooding in for 3 consecutive days. Encouraged by this newfound support, Mike dared to dream bigger. With donations from his listeners, he envisioned a more ambitious and powerful time machine for his next project. But as soon as he got things underway, he mysteriously disappeared. The curious case of Mike's disappearance. The story of Mike and his mysterious disappearance certainly lends itself to speculation about the possibilities of time travel. The discovery of a cell phone next to a deceased man on a 1930s California beach adds another layer of intrigue. It's almost as if someone from the future had accidentally left behind a piece of technology that was completely out of place for the time period. One can't help but wonder if Mike's disappearance and the discovery of the cell phone are somehow connected. Did Mike's time machine experiment go wrong, leading him to end up in a different time period altogether? And if so, did he accidentally bring the cell phone with him, leaving it behind when he met his unfortunate fate? The mystery deepens further with the circumstances surrounding the deceased man on the beach. How did he come to possess a cell phone in an era where such technology didn't exist? Was he also a time traveler? Or did someone else from the future leave the phone behind intentionally or accidentally? Unfortunately, without further evidence or information, the true nature of these events remains hidden in mystery. Mike vanished from the scene like a magician's trick, leaving everyone wondering where he had gone. But then, like a bolt from the blue, in 2022, he resurfaced online to set the record straight, debunking the wild stories that he had somehow journeyed back in time to the 1930s and perished there. Adding to the intrigue, whispers circulated about him being interviewed yet again by a local radio station back in 2015. It was like a puzzle with missing pieces, leaving many scratching their heads. And to add another layer to the mystery, in February of that same year, activity emerged on a blog under the username Real Madman Markham, sparking curiosity and speculation again. It sounds like Mad Mike is involved in quite the mysterious situation. He's facing rumors of his demise and alleged time-traveling adventures, but he denies these claims, attributing them to a case of mistaken identity with a school kid who shares his name. Despite his insistence, his followers are still seeking proof of his identity, leaving his existence hidden in mystery. His acknowledgement of a helpless time machine project adds an intriguing element to the story, hinting at his involvement in endeavors beyond the ordinary. The mention of inverters suggests technical complexities involved in his pursuits. The broader narrative raises skepticism about the authenticity of claims regarding time travel, echoing the sentiments of doubters questioning the truthfulness of such extraordinary stories. The reference to another time traveler experiencing a temporal abnormality due to a fierce storm adds an additional layer of intrigue to the discussion. Overall, the story paints a picture of uncertainty and fascination surrounding the elusive figure of Mad Mike and the tantalizing possibility of journeys through time. Sir Robert Victor Goddard's account of his alleged time travel experience in 1935 is quite remarkable. As he flew over the abandoned airbase near Edinburgh, Scotland, he observed it in a state of disrepair, with cattle grazing on the tarmac, indicating years of neglect. However, his journey took a strange turn when he encountered a strange storm characterized by strong winds and peculiar brownish-yellow storm clouds, causing him to lose control of his plane. Despite the dangerous situation, Goddard managed to regain control of his aircraft and emerged from the storm into what appeared to be brilliant sunlight. The once stormy day transformed into a beautiful one, with the sun shining down on him. What was even more astonishing was the apparent change in the airbase below. Instead of misery, it now appeared to be fully operational, with modern aircraft and personnel in unfamiliar uniforms. Goddard believed that he had unintentionally traveled 4 years into the future, landing in 1939. His story has captivated many over the years, sparking speculation and debate about the nature of time and the possibility of extraordinary experiences like time travel. While some skeptics attribute his experience to factors like disorientation, others find it an intriguing narrative that adds to the mystery of aviation tradition. Now let's explore the stunning story of Sir Goddard's intriguing adventures. Sir Goddard's exciting adventures. If that wasn't already enough to leave him speechless, when he looked down, the deserted and run-down airbase he'd seen just seconds ago had miraculously transformed into a bustling place of activity. Not only was it now in top-notch condition, but it was also operational. Below, mechanics clad in blue overalls diligently tended to bright yellow planes neatly parked on the runway. Adding to his bewilderment was the realization that these planes were vastly different from those he knew from 1935. Strangely, not a single one seemed familiar to Sir Goddard. How could such a remarkable renovation take place in the blink of an eye? It was a puzzle beyond his comprehension. And then there were the mechanics, dressed in attire that defied the norm of khaki uniforms worn in 1935. The choice of yellow for the planes was equally perplexing, as the Air Force conventionally painted their aircraft silver. Sir Goddard attempted to rationalize the inexplicable scene happening before him, but every attempt at science, the reasoning fell short. It was a strange experience that defied explanation. Years later, amid the chaos of a European war, Sir Goddard returned to Dram, only to encounter the most astonishing revelation of his life. The abrupt transition from storm to sunshine mirrored precisely what he had witnessed at the airbase, leaving him completely astonished. Sir Goddard's experience defies conventional explanations, as the details he recounts simply don't align with historical records. The appearance of mechanics in specific overalls, working on particular planes, including the Miles Magister before its first flight, presents a compelling case for something beyond mere confusion or misidentification. Skeptics may try to rationalize Sir Goddard's experience by suggesting he landed elsewhere in 1935, but this explanation falls short when considering the precise details he observed, such as the mechanic's attire and the presence of planes not yet in existence. The discrepancy in timelines, with the Miles Magister not making its inaugural flight until 1937, further complicates any attempts at a logical explanation. The sudden shift in weather from a storm to bright sunshine adds another layer of mystery to the narrative, hinting at a supernatural or inexplicable phenomenon at play. Ultimately, Sir Goddard's experience challenges our understanding of reality and invites speculation about the nature of time, perception, and the possibility of encountering phenomena beyond our current comprehension. Sir Goddard's detailed accounts of his time travel adventures certainly captivate the imagination, even if they invite skepticism from some quarters. But when the narrative is so rich with detail, it's hard not to be drawn in. Moving on to the incident from 1988, as described in Ken Mo's article in Strange Magazine 2, it seems we're in for another intriguing tale. L.C. and his associate, using the Bob, were on a seemingly routine drive along Highway 167 towards Lafayette after enjoying a meal in Abbeville, Louisiana. The setting is firmly established, painting a picture of a typical day until something out of the ordinary occurs. What could have possibly happened to these two travelers on that fateful day in 1969? On the 20th of October, around 1:30 p.m., the atmosphere was splendid. The sky stretched out a flawless blue, while a gentle breeze danced through the air. Suddenly, their attention was captured by an unexpected sight: an ancient-looking car navigating along at a relaxed pace. Both of them were captivated by this curious vehicle. It was like nothing they had ever seen before. Remarkably unique and evidently old-fashioned, yet astonishingly well-preserved. As they approached, they couldn't help but marvel at the car's remarkable condition. It seemed untouched by the passage of time. They decided to pass it, but not before slowing down to take a closer look. The car's appearance was striking, with a particularly distinctive feature: a large, bright orange license plate proudly displaying the year 1940. This detail puzzled them. Antique cars of this period weren't typically seen on the road unless they were part of a ceremonial procession. Their intrigue deepened when they noticed the driver, a young woman adorned in what appeared to be attire from the 1940s. Her costume was complete, with a stylish hat and a luxurious wool coat, adding to the strange atmosphere of the encounter. The woman behind the wheel seemed to be in a state of panic, her face drained of color, her eyes scanning frantically as if she were lost in unfamiliar territory. It was evident she needed assistance. Her distress was almost visible, shaky on the brink of tears. LC extended a helping hand, to which she nodded in agreement, though she didn't roll down her window or meet his gaze. Despite their repeated requests for her to stop, she eventually pulled over to the side of the road. LC and Bob passed her vehicle and parked in front, only to find it had vanished into thin air when they looked back. A baffling disappearance given the lack of traffic on the deserted highway. Shocked and unable to articulate what they had just witnessed, LC and Bob opted to continue their journey. Not long after, still on Highway 167, they observed a peculiar sight: a modern car overtaking a much older one at a slow pace, adding another layer of intrigue to their strange experience. The cars were moving at such a sluggish pace that it seemed as if they had stopped altogether. When the new car pulled over in front, the same strange phenomenon occurred. It came to a standstill and then abruptly vanished into thin air. The observers were left dumbfounded, struggling to believe what they had just witnessed. Even the occupant of the other car was shocked by the inexplicable event. The trio began sharing their accounts of the baffling occurrence, trying to make sense of it all. They decided to explore the surrounding area in hopes of uncovering any clues. One of them insisted that they should notify the authorities, convinced that it could be a case of a missing person. However, LC and Bob were hesitant to involve the police, feeling overwhelmed and unsure about what had transpired. Their reluctance was heightened by the fact that they had no clue as to where the woman, child, and their vehicle had disappeared to. The third man's reluctance to go to the police without the support of the other two suggests a shared experience that might be hard for others to believe. The speculation about the woman being a time traveler or someone stuck in a state of uncertainty adds a layer of mystery and opens up various possibilities for the story. But could there be something more horrifying as the terrifying tale of Hutton and Brandt? The troubling tale of Hutton and Brandt. There was a harrowing experience that thrusts newspaper reporter Bernard Hutton and photographer Joachim Brandt reported. They were sent to cover a feature story at the Hamburg shipyard in 1932. They found themselves abruptly confronted by the horrors of war as fighter planes filled the sky and bombs rained down. The sudden transformation of their surroundings into a battlefield leaves them scrambling for safety, with explosions and collapsing buildings adding to the commotion. Despite their instinct to assist, they are compelled to flee by a security guard who recognizes the gravity of the situation. As they drive into Hamburg, the full extent of the devastation becomes evident, marking a sharp shift in their perception of the world around them. This chilling narrative serves as proof of the unpredictability of life and the realities of conflict, leaving a lasting impression on both the characters and readers alike. The story of Hutton and Brandt's inexplicable experience with the shipyard certainly stirs the imagination. It's fascinating how events seemingly mirrored what they witnessed years later in a newspaper report. Such mysteries often prompt speculation about the nature of time and the possibility of time travel. In the realm of science, time travel remains a topic of theoretical exploration rather than a tangible reality. While concepts like wormholes and time expansion have been proposed in theoretical physics, actual time travel, especially to the past, presents numerous mysteries and challenges. Despite the beauty of time travel in popular culture, the agreement among scientists is that it's highly unlikely based on our current understanding of physics. The laws of causality, which dictate that effects follow their causes, pose a significant problem to the concept of traveling backward in time without encountering mysteries like the famous grandfather mystery. However, the future is uncertain, and advancements in science and technology constantly challenge our current limitations. Mike's story seems to twist the unusual with the fantastical, blending the idea of a name change for privacy with the notion of time travel. While many dismiss time travel as mere science fiction, theoretical physics presents intriguing possibilities, such as those suggested by Einstein's general theory of relativity. In this theory, gravity's influence on time is a key factor. Dave Goldberg's explanation highlights how time expansion occurs near massive gravitational fields, such as those around black holes. The concept that time can flow at different rates depending on the strength of gravity is both perplexing and theoretically sound. Goldberg's assertion that this phenomenon is widely accepted within the scientific community underscores the brightness of these theories. Despite the skepticism of many physicists, the theoretical frameworks supporting time travel persist, inviting further exploration and speculation. Ultimately, whether Mike's name change was a bid for invisibility or a cover for a successful time travel journey remains a matter of interpretation. Yet, the scientific principles behind time expanding near massive bodies offer a fascinating glimpse into the potential realities of time travel, blurring the lines between the ordinary and the extraordinary. The journey into understanding time travel is indeed global with complexities, similar to navigating the dangerous depths of a black hole. Scientists have long struggled with the tantalizing prospect of traversing through time, pondering over various theoretical frameworks and confronting conflicts placed within general relativity. Fabio Costa's insights highlight a historical track in our quest for time travel solutions. Dating back to the 1920s, the concept of using a rapidly spinning cylinder to manipulate space-time emerged as a tantalizing possibility. It wasn't until the 1970s, however, that scientists fully comprehended the potential of such configurations to serve as temporal channels. The discovery of closed time-like curves in the 1970s further enriched our understanding of temporal dynamics. These curves describe the peculiar paths of hypothetical observers back to their starting point in space-time, defying conventional notions of linear time progression. Einstein, whose revolutionary theories fundamentally reshaped our understanding of the universe, struggled with the unsettling implications of closed time-like curves. Their existence challenges our close understanding of causality and the unidirectional flow of time. Despite Einstein's fear, the phenomenon of closed time-like curves prompt subsequent research endeavors, driving scientists to probe deeper into the rather mythical world of space-time. But the debates about forward and backwards time travel continue to rage, leaving many wondering which is most achievable. H.G. Wells's time mystery. H.G. Wells undeniably played a crucial role in popularizing the concept of time travel, sparking imagination and inquiry into the possibilities and implications of such a phenomenon. While the feasibility of traveling to the past remains uncertain, forward time travel is theoretically believable within the frameworks of special and general relativity. However, the practical implementation of significant time extension, where one body advances or delays significantly compared to another, remains beyond current technological capabilities. Time travel, though theoretically allowed by solutions in general relativity like rotating black holes, still presents immense challenges and is more often explored in the realms of quantum mechanics or through speculative constructs like wormholes. The roots of time travel stretch far back into human history, twisted with beliefs, religious narratives, and cultural beliefs. Ancient stories, such as those from Hinduism and Buddhism, offer intriguing glimpses into how different civilizations pictured the passage of time and its potential variations across different realms or dimensions. In Hindu mythology, the story of King Raivata Kakudmi's journey to meet Brahma in heaven, only to return to Earth and find that many ages had passed, reflects an early exploration of time's relativity. Similarly, the Buddhist Payasi Sutta explores the idea that time may flow differently in heavenly realms compared to Earth. These ancient narratives remind us that the fascination with time travel is deeply rooted in human consciousness, reflecting our enduring curiosity about the nature of time and existence. Whether through literature, science, or cultural heritage, the exploration of time travel continues to captivate our imaginations and inspire new avenues of inquiry into the mysteries of the universe. The stories of Urashima Taro and Honihame Agal offer intriguing glimpses into early conceptions of time travel, deeply rooted in cultural custom and tradition. Urashima Taro's journey to an undersea palace and subsequent return to find himself centuries in the future resonates with themes of temporal dislocation and the passage of time. Similarly, Honihame Agal's stories of awakening after a 70-year slumber to find a world unrecognizable to him reflect a similar concept of temporal displacement. As belief in imaginary explanations for such phenomena disappeared and scientific understanding progressed, the concept of time travel shifted into the realm of science fiction. This transition marked a shift from supernatural or mythological explanations to more speculative and scientifically grounded narratives. In the realm of science fiction, time travel themes have been explored through various frameworks, including unyielding timelines, shifting timelines, and alternate histories. Works like Rip Van Winkle by Washington Irving, Looking Backward by Edward Bellamy, and When the Sleeper Awakes by H.G. Wells demonstrate early explorations of time travel, often involving prolonged sleep or fantastical devices as means of temporal transportation. Even in ancient literature, such as the Chinese novel Supplement to the Journey to the West by Dong Yue, we find elements of time travel through magical mirrors and gateways, indicating that the fascination with temporal manipulation spans across cultures and periods. Overall, the evolution of time travel narratives, from traditions and stories to science fiction, reflects humanity's enduring fascination with the concept of altering the difficulties of time. From Sun Wukong's adventures in ancient and future China, to Samuel Madden's letters from the future and the unidentified short story about an unexpected journey to the past, these narratives demonstrate the enduring fascination with non-spiritual displacement in literature. Sun Wukong's journey, rooted in Chinese tradition and literature, blends elements of fantasy and adventure with time travel, showcasing the protagonist's quest across different historical periods. Meanwhile, Madden's Memoirs of the 20th Century offers a unique twist by presenting future events through letters sent back to the past, suggesting a form of indirect time travel facilitated by a guardian angel. Similarly, the anonymous short story An Anachronism, or Missing One's Coach, presents a mysterious and ambiguous time travel experience, where the protagonist finds himself transported back in time while waiting for a coach. The encounter with the historical figure of the Venerable Bede adds depth to the narrative, leaving readers questioning the reality of the experience. These works highlight the versatility of time travel as a literary device, allowing authors to explore themes of history, destiny, and the human condition through journeys across temporal landscapes. Whether it's through the lens of tradition, speculative fiction, or historical narratives, the concept of time travel continues to captivate audiences and inspire creative storytelling. Which of these time travelers that disappears and emerges years later with a chilling warning do you find highly intriguing? Share your thoughts and comments below, and if you enjoyed watching this video, make sure you give thumbs up and subscribe to the channel.